Today is January 4th, Thursday, Advanced Algebra. If students have not finished the warm-up yet, please pause the video. So I'm going to assume now that students have finished the warm-up here. We'll go over it pretty quickly here again. If at any point you need to pause it, explain something, feel free to pause it and add some stuff. So, number one, we took out a 2xy squared. So we took a 2 out there. And then we have whatever we have left in. Number two, we took out a 3, an a cubed, and a b cubed. You could have also taken out a negative 3 and made that a negative here, and then that would make positive and a negative there. So you could have done that too. The next one, factoring here, things I looked at. So it's x squared, which means it's going to be x and x. We want numbers that multiply to negative 32, add to negative 4. So that means it's going to be a positive and a negative. And I think the negative is going to be bigger here. So we want a negative 4. And when I look at this, I multiply my inside terms, I multiply my outside terms, and I get positive 4x and a negative 8x. Yeah, that's a negative 4x, so that's correct. In number 4, this is one of the special patterns that we have. This is one of them that you can definitely do just by thinking about factoring here. So I looked at this. That's 25, which is 5 squared. And the 10, that's 2 times that 5. So double a and b here. But you can just go ahead and factor it as well. You get x minus 5 and x minus 5. And the next one, I look and I see, okay, it's a minus. I have 16 and 9. Both of those are perfect squares. So I know it's going to be one's plus, one's minus. They're going to be the same. At this point now, if you take out your homework, the substitute can go over any questions. If they don't know what to do, Jeb, you want to answer any questions? If not, time to go to the checking quiz. So at this point, pause, collect the homework if you haven't already, and give the check-in quiz. Should take students about 5 minutes here. So today, we're factoring trinomials when a, or that leading coefficient, is not 0. So last class, we looked at GCF. We can pull out a number here. We always look to try to do that first here. Can I pull anything out here? The next, okay, what if it has 2 terms here? Okay, well, that's going to be a difference of 2 squares. Known as DOTS, that's difference of 2 squares. We get a plus b and a minus b there. Difference has to be subtraction there. So something to remember. And 3, well, if we have 3 terms, then we can try to factor it. We can unfoil it here. And that's kind of what we're going to be doing today. We're going to be unfoiling here with 3 terms and then some what's known as factor by grouping with 4 terms. So let's review here. When we multiply binomials, we think of FOIL, right? That's one way to kind of remember it here. First, outer, inner, last. If I multiply the first ones together, that'd be 2x and 3x. Oh yeah, there it is. The outside ones, 2x and negative 2. The inside, negative 5 and 3x. And the outside, negative 5 and negative 2. So I'm going to get this as my answer, 6x squared minus 19x plus 10. And then we have, okay, what numbers created our first one, our first terms, right? 2x and 3x. The ones that we're going to be looking at today are going to be much more difficult than the ones we looked at last class. For this reason, we're going to have a number other than 1 in front of x squared here. So Let's take a look at one that is a little bit more difficult here. The outside and the inside there, oh yeah, that's the negative 4x and the negative 15x. We're going to be using that today here. So what we want to do is we're going to factor this 6x squared plus 31x plus 5. Now, the problem is this. It usually was x squared. Well, that makes it much more difficult if it's 6x squared because now my factors of 6 are 1 and 6, 2 and 3, negative 1, negative 6, negative 2, negative 3. So I have many more options here. I have many more things that I have to try. When we do this method, it's going to be a guess and check method, meaning I'm going to try 1 and 6, 1x and 6x. Now, I don't need to use the negatives here. I could, but in this case, you don't really need the negatives. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use 1x and 6x, 2x and 3x. And I'm going to try different combinations. So the first one I'm going to use is 6x and 1x here. Then 2x and 3x. So I'm going to grab one of those, either 2x and 3x or 6x and 1x, and put it in there. So I'm going to start with 2x and 3x here. And now, well, what are the factors of 5? Well, it's 1 and 5 or negative 1 and 5, negative 5. I know it's going to be positive, so I'll try 1 and 5 there in that spot. When I do this, now I know that the first term is going to be 6x squared. I know the last term is 5, so I don't need to keep on multiplying those again. What are the things that change here? Okay, the inside terms and the outside terms. How do I get to 31x? Well, what do I have to do? I have to multiply 2x and 5x to get 10x. I have to multiply 3 and 1 to get 3x. That gives me 13x. Nope, that doesn't work. What if I switched them? What if I put the 5 there and the 1 there? That gives me 15x and 2x, which is 17x. Nope, that doesn't work either. Okay, so now what? Well, those don't work. Go on to the next factors here. I'm going to try 1x and 6x. So I put the 6x and the 1x in there. I'm going to put a 5 in there and a 1 there. And now I'm going to multiply my inside and outside terms, my two middle terms here. Now again, remember, 6 times x is x squared, 5 times 1 is 5. We know that's going to be the case. Now look at my inside terms and my outside terms. 6x times 1 is 6x. 5 times 1x is 5x. That gives me 11x. Nope, I wanted 31. Okay, so that doesn't work. What could I do? I could switch the 5 and the 1. The first and the last terms don't change. But 6x times 5 is 30x. 1 times x is 1x. When I add them together, I get 31x. Yay. Great. We found the middle term there. So our middle one is 31x. What does that mean? That means that's my answer here. 6x plus 1, 1x plus 5. So let's give another one a shot here. I have 8x squared plus 2x minus 15. So 8x squared, well, that could be 1x and 8x, or 2 and 4. And the factors of negative 15 are 1 and negative 15, negative 115, 3, negative 5, negative 3, 5. So now we're going to test them. I have a bunch of different combinations that I can choose from. So I'm going to look and I'm going to eliminate the negatives here. 8, I can do 1 and 8 and 2 and 4. So now I have to plug in 1x, 8x, and test my different points. My different factors here, namely 1, negative 15, negative 115, negative 3, 5, 3, negative 5. So I'm going to start with 1 and negative 15 here. When I do that now, I know 1x and 8x is 8x squared. I know 1 and negative 15 is negative 15. So the only thing I really have to check is my inside and outside terms. 1x times negative 15 is negative 15x. 1 times 8x is 8x. Does that give me what I want? No. So I move on. Maybe I switch it. Maybe I see if the negative 15 can go there. Now, remember, what did I want? I wanted a positive 2x. So what's negative 15 times 8? That's negative 120. No, that's too big. Right? 1x and negative 120x? No, that's way too big. So I don't think that's going to work here with negative 15 and 1. What if I tried 1x, 8x, and negative 3 and 5? So now I'm going to test my outside and inside terms here. Negative 3 times positive 8x, negative positive 1x times 5x. That gives me a negative 24 and a positive 5. Nope, that doesn't help me to get to positive 2x. What if I switched it? Well, that's going to give me a positive 40x and a negative 3x. No, that doesn't get me to 2x. So maybe it's not 1x and 8x. So now I'm going to try the other one. I'm going to try 2x and 4x. I'm going to try 1 and negative 15. But when I have 15, that number gets pretty big. So I'm going to try negative 3 and 5. Those are a little bit closer, and I want a positive 2x, so I want to pick numbers that are a little bit closer together, maybe. Well, 2x and 5 is 10x. Negative 3 and 4x is a negative 12x. Well, what did I want? I wanted a positive 2x, not a negative 2x. So what can I do? I can switch them. I'm going to make it a positive 3 and a negative 5. That is one of the possibilities. So I get 12x. I get negative 10x, which gives me, positive 2x. Yeah, that's what I wanted there in the middle term. So, yeah, that's my answer. 2x plus 3, 4x plus 5. So, give these a shot here. Give 1 and 2 a shot. Hit pause. Give the students a couple minutes to do these. And when most of the students are done, hit play again. So if I'm looking at this one, I have 2x squared, so that's going to be a 1x and 2x. I have 27. Well, that could be 1 and 27 or 3 and 9. If I'm looking at this, I probably wouldn't try 27 and 1 first. because 27 gets me a pretty big number. So I'd try the 3 and the 9, and I think 3x and 2x is 6x, 1x and 9x is 15x. Yep, I think it's 1x plus 3 and 2x plus 9. In number 3, notice 2x and negative 9 gives me a negative 7x if I add those. So I'm going to use a 1x and a 1x. So I have 1x plus 1, 2x minus 9. That works. That gives me a negative 7x. All right, pause it again. Give 3 and 4 a shot. All right, so looking at 3 and 4 here. Things I see with number 3, well, it's a 6x squared. The middle term is an x. So if it's a 6, I'm probably going to use numbers that are a little bit closer together. In this case, if I did 3x plus 2, 2x plus 1, I can check it quickly and see, yep, I think that's going to work here. In number 4, I notice my middle term is positive. I have a negative there in my last term, so it's going to be a positive and negative. I check it just to make sure. 15xy negative 2xy is 13xy. So, yeah, that's what I wanted. So, yeah, the answer is 2x plus 3y, 5x minus 1y. So, what do when we can't factor it with guess and check with 3 terms? Well, when I have 4 terms, I can actually factor that. I can take what I have there and write it as 2 things multiplied together. So I'm going to group my first 2 terms together. What can I take out of that? I can take out a 2x squared. What do I have left? 3x and then plus y. So now I'm going to look at my last 2 terms here, 18x and 6y. What can I take out of there? Well, I think I could take a 6 out. What do I have left? 3x plus y. So now at this point, I'm looking for common groups in this. So if I look at my first term and my last term, what stays the same? What's in both of those? 3x plus y. So what do I have to do? I'm going to pull the 3x plus y out of each part. What do I have left? If I pull it out of the first one, I have a 2x squared left. If I pull it out of the second one, I have a positive 6. I can go ahead and check it. 3x times 6, 18x. 2x squared y. Yeah, that's going to work out. So again, I can also flip the page and go, are there other numbers that would work? In this case, yeah, there is. So we can factor the same polynomial using different factor groups. So I'm going to group the first one a little bit differently there. I'm going to write it 6x cubed plus 18x plus 2x squared y plus 6y. So now, what can I pull out? A 6 and an x. What do I have left? X squared plus 3. When I pull it out of the second one, what do I have? What's the same in there? What's in common? A 2 and a y. So I'm going to pull out a 2y. What do I have left? X squared plus 3. So now I look. What can I pull out? What's the same in both of them? The x squared plus 3. So I'm going to pull the x squared plus 3 out. What do I have left? From the first one, I have a 6x. From the second one, I have a 2y. Notice if you flip back, it's the same answer we got before. So we could switch the order here. So let's try it again on this one. Let's take a look here. If I did 6x cubed plus 6y, 2x squared y plus 18. What can I take out of the first? A 6. What can I take out of the second? A 2x. What do I have left? xy plus 9. Does that... No, those aren't the same. Oh, well, that means that you may have to move the order around in order to do factor by grouping. That one doesn't work. Doesn't mean you can't factor, it just means you may have to move stuff around. All right, so give this one a shot. Hit pause. All right, so looking at this, first one, we're going to group the first two together. I'm going to take out an x, take out a 3y. Notice what's the same in both of them? The 2x plus 5, so I pull that out. What do I have left? X plus 3y. Okay, again, pause, give this one a shot. So I'm going to pull out a 2x. I have x minus 3y left. I'm going to pull out a 5, but I have negative 3y plus x. Well, is that the same thing? Yeah, they actually are. So I'm going to write it x minus 3y and 2x plus 5. So now at this point it says you're equipped with most of the factoring strategies. It says frequently more than one layer of factoring is required to produce a complete factorization. So if a polynomial cannot be factored, we say it's prime. So let's look at our flow chart here. If you look at the last page of your notes, the factoring flow chart. First thing, stop, think, G, CF. Always look, can I pull something out? Then, after I pull something out, how many terms do I have? If I have 2 terms and I have subtraction, there's a good chance it's a difference of 2 squares. That means what? A plus BA minus B. If there are 4 terms, well, I'm going to have to do factor by grouping. If I have 3 terms, now I look to see, is there a special pattern? Now, with 3 terms, it's not as easy to recognize. So really, in that respect, we really just unfoil it. Now, you could, if you recognize that, oh yeah, it's going to be A plus BA plus B, and A squared minus 2AB plus B squared. But really, you can just factor it, and that works fine here. And again, if it's not a special pattern, then I just unfoil it. All right, so give these a shot here. Hit pause, give 1 and 2 a shot. So taking a look at 1, first thing I would do, I'd take out a 2 and an x. I have x squared plus 5x plus 6 left. I'm going to factor this. Now that's x squared, so this is pretty easy. X and x. What multiplies to 6 and adds to 5? Oh yeah, 3 and 2. If I look at number 2, what can I do first? Greatest common factor. I can pull out an n to the third. What do I have left? N squared plus or minus 100. At this point, you'd be tempted to stop here, but you can't. You have to keep on going. Look, there's 2 terms. It's subtraction. I have 100, which is a perfect square. I should think it's a difference of two squares, meaning n plus 10, n minus 10. The middle term drops out. All right, pause, give 3 and 4 a shot. So in 3, I'm looking at this one. There's 4 terms. I can take out a 3a. What do I have left? B plus x. In this one, I have a negative and a negative, so I'm going to take out a negative as well because I want the inside part to be positive. So now what do they have in common? B plus x. I pull that out. What do I have left? 3a minus 2. In 4, first thing I look at, can I pull anything out? 4, 35, and 24? No. There's 3 terms, so I'm just going to look to factor it. Now, I can pretty much guess that 24 and 1 won't work. So let's try 4b and b, maybe 2b and 2b here. I don't think 24 is going to work, so it's going to be minus minus. Let's try 6 and 4 and 8 and 3 first. If I did 8 and 3, the inside is negative 3. The outside is negative 32. That gets me it. All right, pause again. Give 5 and 6 a shot. In 5, I took out a 2b squared. I have b squared plus 5b minus 36. Now it's b squared, so I think it's just going to be b and b. What multiplies to negative 36 adds to a positive 5? Well, that's going to be a plus. I want the positive to be bigger, so 9, and I wanted a 5, so 9 and 5 there. Now, I can always check it here. 9b and negative 5b is 4b. Is that what I wanted? Wait, no. I wanted a 5b. Oh, that's going to be 4 here. So checking it never hurts. And notice 9b and negative 4b is 5b, what I wanted on the inside. All right, the last one. This one, a little bit different in that it has t to the 4th. So what will multiply to give you 3t to the 4th? Well, you have 2 possibilities. Could be 3t and t cubed, or it could be 3t squared and t squared. Which one is it? Well, look at your middle term. Your middle term is a t squared. That means that has to be a t squared and a t squared to give me a 5t squared in the middle. So, yeah, it's going to be negative 1 and minus 2. When I look at it, I get negative 6 t squared and t squared, negative 5t squared. Yeah, that's what I wanted. All right, so at this point, take a minute, do the closure. When you're done with the closure, hit pause real quickly until everybody's done. Then we'll go over it. All right, so the first one, factor in a polynomial. What's the first method? Not BF. GCF, greatest common factor. Number 2, when given a polynomial of 2 terms, the special pattern is a difference of squares. And then in number 3, what strategy should be attempted besides asking a grown-up? That's a definite. You should also do factor by grouping. So I would say B is definitely your answer there. You could say D as well, but you would definitely want to do B too. All right, so at this point, we are done with the lesson here. We have a quiz in a couple classes. So quiz next week, Wednesday. The non-calculator final is on Friday, the skinny day. The non-calculator review that you got last class, I would definitely start that. Have that done. You'll be handing that in on Friday before the exam. So you have the rest of the time to work on worksheet number 4.